Grace and peace to you. We continue our study of Revelation. We are now in Revelation chapter 13 and verse 1. Many critical topics are covered in this chapter, and will introduce several themes to us for the book of Revelation. Verse 1 of the text. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his head 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. John sees another vision. A beast rose out of the sea, whose description is similar to the dragon of Revelation 12, as well as sharing similarities of other passages in the Bible, which we will discuss. It's said to have 7 heads, 10 horns, 10 crowns, and the name of blasphemy. The 7 heads, we later find out, represent the land masses of a city, a particular city. Rome was built on 7 land masses or hills, and their pronunciation, I believe, is Palatine, Aventine, Capitoline, Cillian, Creslian, Viminal, and Quirinal. These are the 7 hills Rome was built on. We find out that Rome is critical to the kingdom of the Antichrist. Revelation 17, verse 9. The Roman Empire, as it once was, is long since fallen, but its influence has remained, and the Bible prophesies here about Rome's revival. Other passages also predict Rome's revival. Daniel chapter 2, verse 33, and Daniel 7, verse 8, to name a few. In Revelation 17:12, the 10 horns we see here are identified as 10 leaders. Crowns in the Bible often speak of acquired kingdoms. 1 Chronicles 20, verse 2. And we know from Daniel 7:23 that the kingdom he has will extend over the entire earth, though it will be short-lived, as Christ will return to destroy his kingdom in Revelation 19. He comes out of the sea, for he will exert great influence over the masses. That is, he will come from them, and we know for a fact that he comes out from the masses. He comes from amongst the common people, per Revelation 17:15, as that's what the sea he is coming from means, per that verse. He is the very name of blasphemy. His nature and power itself ultimately come from Satan, as seen in the next verse. Many refer to the beast as the Antichrist. I will use the two terms interchangeably. One comes from the text, the other is what everyone else associates his name with. Regardless, the book of Revelation, though, calls him the beast. We will continue to read forward and learn more about this situation. Verse 2 of the text. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. John further describes this beast as possessing characteristics of several animals. Animals, or other types of illustrations, were used to refer to kingdoms in the Bible. These animals specifically find their reference in Daniel chapter 7. Though the whole chapter is dedicated to the topic, the description I just read best describes chapter 7, verses 4, 5, and 6 specifically. In that text, the lion was the representation for Babylon, the bear for the Medo-Persian Empire, and the leopard represented the Grecian Empire, ultimately led by Alexander the Great. Each represented a succession of kingdoms and their characteristics. Daniel foretold Babylon would fall to another kingdom, which would in turn fall to another kingdom after them. This imperial succession takes place in Daniel chapter 2, verse 39. References to the book of Daniel are found throughout Revelation. Here it represents characteristics and traits kept from previous empires. Babylon was considered the most majestic in the group. Medo-Persia had the largest army, that is, they had the largest recorded mass of the armies. Greece was known for its speed and advanced tactics in warfare. Though the knowledge and power of these kingdoms would be possessed by the beast and his administration, ultimately his true power comes from Satan the dragon. Verse 3 of the text. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. and all the world wondered after the beast. It says one of the heads of this creature received a deadly injury, but then recovered. All the world was amazed. Verse 14 of Revelation 13 tells us various supernatural acts that will be displayed during Satan's administration in an attempt on his part to further feed his deception. The beast, making an attempt at mimicking the resurrection of Christ, would be in keeping with Satan's nature. Isaiah 14:12-14. He will be on the earth bodily, that is, in the Antichrist. Satan will have presence, because the beast will have all the dragon's powers. Verse 4 of our text. And they, the people, worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? The people acknowledge that the beast gains his power from the dragon, and they begin to worship them. They begin to believe there is no one like these individuals, these two persons, and that they are invincible. The arrival of Christ to earth, however, will advise otherwise. Again, Revelation 19. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 8 through 10 warns us about the coming of the wicked one. God will destroy him, the Antichrist, setting the world free from his corruption at the time of his arrival to earth the second time. Prior to that, the devil will perform miracles to make people believe the lies instead of the truth. And the godless will believe his lies because only the light of the truth can save one from deception. Satan's deception is that he can provide, and that he can protect or defeat the Almighty. The truth is that the devil leads them on a path to hell itself. Their ultimate fate is seen in Revelation 20, verse 15. Verse 5 of the text. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. This verse gives a general introduction into some of the things that the beast will speak against God. It is the next verse that further clarifies his wording. Regarding the time frame again, this is another reference to the second half of the tribulation. The tribulation refers to the judgments of God on earth during the Revelation visions that we are talking about here. It will last a little over 7 years, and the second half is what is being referenced here with the 42 months. Another reference to the time frame is Revelation 11, verse 2. Though many more exist, the final half of the period, that is, we have more to cover in the book, but the final half of Revelation, the tribulation period, is more extreme than the first. We have seen glimpses of that already, such as Revelation chapter 9 and some of the intense judgments covered at that time. Verse 6 of the text. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. Satan's hatred is directed toward anything of God. His name, his tabernacle or temple, anything associated with heaven, angels, saint. Satan believes he can take worship away from God, and by proclaiming himself as such can become the center of worship. He even sticks his image, his idol, in the temple of God, Matthew 24:15. Blasphemy against God was strictly warned against in Exodus 20, verse 7. The consequences of following Satan against God will be made clear in many passages. Revelation 14:10 through 11 is one of them. In a general sense, blasphemy is irreverence toward God or the things of God. Do not participate in such actions, for if you do, if you were to treat the Bible or its message lightly or as a joke, the consequence is the full judgment of God. Hebrews 10:29. The only thing that Satan can ultimately lead a person to is hell. Christ is the only source of salvation, and despite the fact that Satan has been defeated by God many times, he continues to push his agenda. Ultimately, the saints will prevail, but for those who were left behind on earth who did not initially believe but now do, there is much adversity to overcome. Well, that is it for now. This has introduced some very important topics to us, and we will continue our study of Revelation. In the meantime, I pray that the Lord bless you and keep you. Thank you for watching, and God bless.